What if you could build a business model that generated millions of dollars all around transforming people's lives? On today's episode, I have someone who did just that. Jamal and his wife, Natasha Miller, have built several multi-million-dollar online brands, all surrounding helping people in everyday areas of their lives.
At the center of what we do, we are an online education company. We have a portfolio of online education brands that center around one thing, which is to transform people from the inside out. We are in the transformation business.
He shares the secrets of how to scale, how to get attention, and how to find your tribe online that you can impact.
$1 million piece of advice here. If you are looking to sell a program, a course, a membership, this is the question you must ask yourself. What do I need my customer to believe to buy this product? Purchasing is all in the belief realm. You purchase your laptop or your iMac because you believed it'll make you more productive. There was a belief that connected to either a need or a problem. But even when you recognize the need, there still needs to be attached to a belief in order for you to make a decision.
Jamal literally lays out the blueprint of how him and his team of 20 have built a multi-million-dollar online brand God's way.
I call it like the belief pyramid, right? Because it's like you start at this baseline at the bottom and you're gonna just keep going up and up. And the reality is less and less people will go all the way up to the top.
Welcome to the Faithustle podcast, where we help young Christian entrepreneurs learn how to build their business God's way. And today I am so excited for the conversation we're gonna have. My name is Makwenda. I've been an entrepreneur for almost a decade, and I get the opportunity through this show to bring on some of the most successful entrepreneurs that are not just crushing it in business, but in their life, they have built their business and their life God's way. And today is no exception. This is not a guest, this is family. He is third time actually returning to the show. He has the most reps out of myself on here, but no, he really is family. He has meant so much to me. You're gonna be challenged, you're gonna be equipped, you're gonna leave with some practical tools. If you've ever wanted to get into the online business space, this episode is for you. I got my brother, the one and only man of God, Jamal Miller.
What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm
Bro,
great.
I love that intro, man. Thank you so much for that. It was so beautiful.
Absolutely. And I want to say it publicly again. Like, I've gotten to like hang with your family, your kids, and I guess update since y'all got a baby,
We got a man
new
of God.
baby, a man to break up all the girls.
A man of God. Come on, somebody. Yeah, honor is here.
Yeah, baby honor, and it's just awesome to see this journey and how you guys have pivoted and
Yes,
since moving to Texas, and I mean you guys have truly have built an insane organization.
Thank you.
And it's helping literally tens of thousands of people, and I want to jump right in.
Let's do it.
I'm excited, and so I want to kind of give an update. If you haven't watched this first episode on season 1, please watch it. But I guess, how would you describe yourself and what you do? I know it always feels like it changes, but how would you describe, what you do?
Yeah, I mean, for us, at the center of what we do, we are an online education company. And how we kind of, show up in the world is we have a portfolio of online education brands that center around one thing, which is to transform people from the inside out. We are in the transformation business. We take people one way and we create programs, content, courses, coaching to help people to become a different form of themselves. I like to call it the best form of themselves, the person that Jesus saw when he made you. I believe Jesus knows our past, present, and our future. That's why we call him the Alpha and the Omega. He's the beginning and the end. So he knows our end. And I believe we take the responsibility of partnering with God to help see each individual person that comes into our programs of what God's purpose and plan for them was the beginning to get them there. And that's what we do, right? I believe we are in the transformation business. We are in the discipleship business. I don't believe discipleship is one facet. I think when we think discipleship, we think you holding on to someone that's helping you become a thing, but actually discipleship is a life journey, right? Discipleship is not a season, it's not a moment, it's a life journey, something that you'll be doing for the rest of your life. And so I believe education is a part of discipleship to help change you, transform you, and we are in that business.
Woo! One, that is a phenomenal breakdown, because and again, I can attest for it. It's the case. I've met people who they're like, man, Jamal, I was in TOU. I was at the one university where you were helping singles, and y'all had a huge singles business ministry, hundreds of thousands of singles, helping them to get prepared for marriage, or, obviously with Called Women, what you guys are doing and how so many women are being impacted and they feel this confidence. No, they have a calling and they have a voice to speak to women, and like it's 100%. Or in the business world, like it's awesome that how you broke it down that way. And I find that a lot of times, and maybe it didn't start off this way, but sure. I think sometimes we can tend to do random things instead of being intentional of like, hey, here's the actual gift that I operate in. Yeah. And so it's like, hey, here's my function. It may look different in different categories, whether it's this program, that, but the core of it is this.
That's it.
How'd you even get to like, that's the core of it?
Yeah. I mean, Jesus, the Great Commission, go into ye all the world and teach them what I've taught you and make disciples of all nations. That, to me, is the ultimate prerogative for every believer, is to find a way to be a part of the Great Commission. The very thing that is changing you, how do I now go do the very thing in others? And I believe this is not restricted to just pastors and lay leaders. Yeah. I believe this is one commission that God gave Jesus gave every single believer, is that we be a part of the Great Commission, whether that be in parenting, right? I believe as parents, our job is to help make disciples out of our children.
Absolutely.
I believe as business owners, our job is to make disciples out of our employees. I believe as pastors, our job is to make disciples out of our members. I believe in every facet of society, if you have an opportunity to have influence over a person, you have an opportunity to help them become a disciple of Jesus Christ.
That's so good. That's the mandate.
And so my business is in the business of education, which means that we're in the business of helping people to attain the knowledge to become a thing, right? And so we want to help you become the best version of whatever you want to become. You want to become married? Got it. You want to become an entrepreneur? Got it. You want to become a certified coach? Got it. If there is something that you feel like God is calling you to become, how can we partner with you in that becoming process? And more than likely today, that's through education, it's through coaching, it's through courses, it's through content. That is how we help people become. And it's just an incredible, incredible privilege to do what we do.
Man, that's incredible. I think, again, I think a lot of people, you can take inspiration from this if to distill what you do into a core purpose, into a core, hey, this is what I'm called to do, and it's going to look different. And I think even more so, actually, I'm thinking of Kendra Tall. We just had a Faithustle night, and one of the things she said that was fascinating was that God doesn't just assign us a task, he assigns us to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
He assigns us to people to serve.
Yeah.
And so all these different people, it's like, hey, like, you have a burden to help people have transformation.
Yeah.
And you do it in multiple facets, in multiple categories, but the ultimate result is transformation in something.
100%.
And I think that's just super practical, something that you can seek God about, of not just, okay, what do I do? Because that's usually, it's like, people get hung up on is like, is the how or the what.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not the fancy or the excitement when I introduce what I do. At the baseline, it does not sound exciting. Like, oh yeah, I make digital courses. It just doesn't sound exciting. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's what I do. But why do I do it? And that's what you're getting to. You need to be able to answer why you do what you do. And your why needs to be something that will be forever a problem, right? Like it will forever be an issue. It will forever be something that will be solved. And that is something that is bigger than you. It's something that will pull your people in. When we started the One University, our why was to eradicate divorce.
Oof.
That's something
that'll be a forever problem.
It's a forever problem, right? Yeah, we're a part of something that is bigger than us, but it pulls you in and say, hey, I want to be a part of solving that problem. Yeah. Even though I know it will be a problem. Same thing when it comes to, I want to be a part, our job as ministries, as churches, is to what? Is to make disciples of the nations, of the world. Well, Jesus gave us that in the beginning of time, right? 2,000 years ago, he said, hey, here's your great commission.
Right.
I'm giving you a why. That will forever be a problem. Because as babies are being born, every day somebody new is coming on this planet that will need this thing.
That's so good.
And I believe in the same thing. When it comes to the transformation of people, this will forever be a problem. Transforming people from the inside out will forever be a problem that needs to be solved. Helping people, partner with people in their processes, partner with people to accomplish their purpose on the earth, right? I believe it was Miles Monroe that says the most expensive place on the earth is the grave. Because people die every single day with so much still within them. And that is the thing that I would say has become like a personal mission of mine is, God, how can I die empty? How can I leave this planet with nothing left inside of me? Every single thing you put in me, I left it on the earth.
Oh my gosh. We could go for days on that. And it's funny, I think sometimes, and I've met people who are very lackadaisical with their gift, their purpose. And I think genuinely what you value, you treasure, and you will try to get the most output out of it. And I've seen a lot of people who are like, they're just going throughout life, no intentionality, no real vigor or passion. And I wonder, is like, do they actually believe that like they have something on the inside of them, and that God gave it to them? And if you saw it as precious, would you try to, like you said, die on empty, try to squeeze the juice out of it?
Absolutely.
And I don't think we're taught that in society. I think a lot of churches, we're not taught that. But I think this is super powerful. Are you looking to meet other Christian entrepreneurs and content creators, but just don't know where to find them? Well, guess what? On May 30th, right here, Wax Space in Dallas, we have a phenomenal networking night for Christian entrepreneurs and content creators. If you're looking to make new relationships, new friends, expand your network, this night is for you. We have food vendors, we have a matcha bar, we got a DJ photo booth, and more importantly, we have a group of individuals that love Jesus and are building their business God's way, and we want you there. Make sure to get your ticket May 30th, 7 and 9:30 p.m. right here at Wax Space in Dallas. I will see you there. I want to get into kind of, again, more of an update of what you, your wife, your team has been working on. One of those brands that you mentioned is called Women.
Amen.
And I've gotten the chance to, actually for 2 of the masterclasses, y'all do this thing called Masterclass. And it is I mean, I'm talking about an experience. Like it's almost like you were in person in a conference, but just virtually. And this last time, you guys do these launches where you gather a ton of people for 1 week to get content and to grow. And I mean, y'all had 75,000 women register?
Yeah, right at 7. It was about, we closed out about 79,000 registered.
79.
Mm-hmm.
My God. So I guess walk people through what that was. What's kind of the heart of call women, and then what are some of the things that even like some of the strategy behind that? What kind of led to that? I love to just kind of dive into some of the mechanics of that a bit.
Sure. Yeah, so one of the, with what we do in terms of transforming people from the inside out, so we have a core offer, right, which many of you that are entrepreneurs that may sell information, whether it be through a coaching program, a digital course, a mastermind, these are some of the more prominent, a membership. So if you have a core offer, you need to make that core offer 100% a need for your people. And more than likely, they're not going to see that they need that product until you position it as such. And in order to position it, you need to give them an opportunity to taste of that program before they buy it, right? And so we do a 1-week masterclass called Call to Women. And we do this as a free, absolutely free, and we're giving them an opportunity to really get changed for free, but then position our program at the end as an opportunity for true lasting change.
Yeah.
Right? Because when we do the Call to Women Masterclass, we're more showing them what's possible, and we're showing them that they need something more than what they're getting. And we then also give them a chance to get to know us as a people, as personalities. We kind of call it like your your vibe attracts your tribe. Right. And so this is why I always tell people, whenever they're in the online space, hey, please stop comparing yourself to someone else that may be already doing something that you want to do. Because if someone else is doing something that you want to do, they're not doing it like you. They don't have your story. They don't have your experience. They don't have your background, which means that there are people assigned to you that, not saying only you can reach, but that you can reach better than someone else, right? There are people, if you weren't doing what you're doing, that may go listen to someone else, but they may be called to listen to you and get even more because they connect with you and your vibe, your story, your experience, your age, your background. And so that's what I always say. Number one, for anyone listening, don't allow yourself to not do something the Lord's put on your heart to do because you see someone else already doing it. Woo. Honestly, that actually is a good sign. You should not do something that no one else is doing because that more than likely means nobody wants it, right? And so if we're looking at this, world for call to women, we see there are plenty of quote unquote ministries reaching women, plenty of podcasts reaching women. And you may say, oh, why do we all need another podcast for women? Because women already are being reached. They got this and this and this and this and this. Time out. The last time I checked, there are literally billions of people on this planet. And until somebody has a billion people that are following them all day, every day, billions of people, there are enough room or enough people for everybody to be successful.
That's so good.
There's enough people for everybody to be successful because you don't need a billion people following you that know you to be successful. And so, so with us, our core offer is called Coach Institute. That's our core program. And our program is a 6-month certification program helping women who feel called to help women become certified life coaches, that they can learn how to help women through coaching. That's our program. So when I do a launch, here's what I ask myself, and this is $1 million piece of advice right here.
Hey, y'all, I hope y'all taking notes.
$1 million piece of advice here. If you are looking to sell a program, a course, a membership, this is the question you must ask yourself before you do anything. What do I need my customer to believe to buy this product? What do I need them to believe? And I've had many sessions with you on this, right? What do I need them to believe to buy my program? Because purchasing is all in the belief realm, right? You purchase your laptop or your iMac because you believed it'll make you more productive. You purchase your car because you believed it will get you from home to work successfully. You knew that there was a belief that connected to either a need or a problem. But even when you recognize the need, there still needs to be attached to a belief in order for you to make a decision, right? And so a need alone is not enough. There has to be a belief. And because your need is kind of just out there, but now what product do you choose? What program do you choose? Well, I have a need. I'm not in purpose, right? Or I have a need. I need a church. Well, I believe that church is the best church for me. Or I believe he really speaks to me. Or I believe, right? And so the same thing needs to happen for your product. And so for Call Coach Institute, we need people to believe, or women to believe, that they're called to be a coach.
Yeah, because if you don't think you can be,
right?
Why would you sign up for a product
to become a coach?
To become one.
So in order for you to believe that you need to become a coach, we then do Call to Women Masterclass to help you along in that belief journey, right? And it's just a belief hierarchy of like, there's like level 1, level 2, level 3, right? And so, cause like level 1 belief is, I believe I have a purpose, right? So, hey, do you believe you have a purpose in God and you're just not fulfilling it? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, level 2, do you believe you're called to women to help women fulfill their purpose and their destiny? There's more in you. Level 2. Level 3, do you believe you're called to be a coach to women? You see what I'm saying? Like
you're looking for hand raises almost. I mean, figuratively, but actually it's like, yes, I resonate with this.
Yes.
You were hitting.
Absolutely.
Like you're on my door, right? Like, yes, this makes sense. And like, you're just trying to, every level, you're trying to address something that they can raise their hand. This is me. This is me.
Yep. And so that's why I call it like the belief pyramid, right? Because it's like you start at this baseline at the bottom and you're going to just keep going up and up. And the reality is less and less people will go all the way up to the top. So let me give you our numbers, right? 80,000 signed up for the free Call to Women Masterclass, right? And they were raising their hand saying, I believe I'm called to women.
Right.
Right. And then we said, hey, listen, over the 5 days of the Call to Women Masterclass, we gave them an incredible experience. We're having prayer in the mornings, teaching sessions in the evenings. You know, my wife is a part of our coaching. She leads our coaching team.
Powerful.
With our, you know, other coaches that are on our team. And they just did a phenomenal job. We had 2 phenomenal guest speakers, you know, Cindy Trim, Cheryl Brady, to help really solidify the authority of the 5 days. And then at the Call to Women Masterclass, we said, hey, listen, if you feel like God is in fact confirming that you are called to women, and you want to learn more about how to step into that call as a coach, next week we're hosting a 2-day boot camp where you can now step into an opportunity to learn more about coaching. Now, now I'll ask you the quiz. At the 2-day boot camp, what are we wanting them to now confirm in their belief system? I believe I'm called to be a what? A coach.
Yeah.
And now the
call to action. We went from I'm just called to women.
Yep.
I'm just called to make an impact to women. To now it's like I'm called to women in this specific vehicle.
Correct.
And gotcha.
And then they're now ready for, hey, if you believe you're called to coach, you need to become a certified coach to learn how to coach the right way.
Right.
So you don't bump your head as a new coach. You're not making these mistakes as your new coach. You're not wasting time. You're not doing this and this and this. If you're gonna do it, learn how to do it right.
Yeah.
Now come into our 6-month program, become certified. Boom. So you go from 80,000 saying yes to the free thing. Then we had 6,000 that said yes to the boot camp. It was $37, right? So there was a little price you had to pay.
Yeah.
And then from the 6,000, you had about 1,000 said yes to Call Coach Institute, right? And that's kind of how that works. And so what I just gave you guys is probably, you know, I would probably say that is about a decade of marketing education, a decade of marketing knowledge experience. We've been doing launches for over a decade. And what I just gave you, if you are an online business owner that launches courses, you know, people always ask, you know, asking me, Jamal, what's working right now? Right? And we'll go more into that. But what's working is what you're good at. So the reason why launches work for us is because me as an entrepreneur and my team, we know how to do them well. We've been doing them for over a decade. We understand the psychology, the mechanics. We understand traffic, lead generation. We understand all the things required to pull off a launch of what we just did and of the magnitude.
I would agree. I mean, even the sliver of what we've been seeing with Faith Hustle Nights.
Yes.
It's been alarming of like almost, I would say, desperation people have for community.
Yes.
Something that's like they can touch that. And again, like webinar, people are still crushing it with webinars. So if that's your model, own it.
Yes.
I'm talking with a guy now that I think we're going to have him on, and he's killing webinars, and he does all the pre-recorded stuff, and he's crushing it. And I think each model works different, right? You find the thing that works for you, but I do believe that there is a increased hunger for that. I think coming out of COVID, I mean, still, I think people honestly, it's funny, and I'm forgetting her Instagram handle right now. If you're listening to this, I apologize. But she came to the second Faith Hustle night. Incredible woman, and she was like, she made this funny reel. It was really good of her recap. And she's like, I had to go in the bathroom and give myself a pep talk before going out there. Yeah. But like, it's real that like, you know, it takes a bit to get kind of the training wheels on.
Sure.
But I think people are desiring that. And so finding your lane, finding, hey, this is what I'm going to own. One of the things I also am encouraged by, and again, like, I hope y'all doing this math. Like it's, I mean, whatever you're comfortable with,
sure.
what y'all end up doing. And cause it's a long time to prepare, but it's about a few weeks of the launch, right? Itself.
Yeah. So, I mean, from ads to open cart, it's about I would say, 45 to 60 day process. Yeah. So it's about, we're talking about 3 to 4 months of preparation, hardcore, intense preparation, somewhere between 15 to 20 people, staff that help to ensure it.
Yeah.
With then the 2 months of actually in it. And then between the masterclass, the boot camp, and then open cart, it's about a good 2-week process.
And was this the biggest launch y'all had ever, or?
Not ever. We've had some bigger ones, but this is the biggest one in almost 2 years.
Gotcha.
Yes.
My goodness. And it's wild to me to see. I get to kind of be a little bit more close up to it, to see all the mechanics of it, how your ads guys are working, and all those different things. And even like I'd love for you to break down like 2 seconds, even like all your lead sources of flow from it.
Sure.
Because you have organic, right? Y'all have a podcast. Y'all have content. Y'all were going on other podcasts. Y'all are doing ads. I saw y'all were doing like affiliate programs on the back end. Like I'd love to even just hear like a little game of like what that even looks like.
Yeah. So for us, traffic is very important. If you can do all this work, have an incredible program. I always say at the end of the day, when it comes to business, the best business doesn't win. And at the end of the day, the most known business wins at the end of the day.
Man of God, I need you to say that again.
Yeah.
I need you to say it's not the best businesses that win.
It's the most known.
The most known.
Right. And so at the end of the day, marketing is so key. Brand is so key. Traffic is so key. Awareness is so key. And so I'm sure out there right now, there may be a product that is better than Apple, that is better than the iPhone. But if they're not known, nobody will ever know.
Don't matter.
Nobody will ever know. And so, yes, you need to have a good product. I'm not saying to not spend time on a good product, because the product is what creates sustainability. Because you can have good marketing, but then the moment somebody gets into your program or your product, and if it does not deliver on what you promised, my goodness, you'll be out of business in 2 years. I promise you. You'll be out of business in 2 years. If your product or your program does not deliver, you'll be out of business. Absolutely. The reason why our business is moving forward in the way that it is because what we do works.
Yeah.
And so, but none of this would work if people don't know about it.
Yeah.
So yes, our traffic channels are number one, yes, at Facebook advertising. And so we lean heavily on Facebook ads. We run somewhere between 7 to 80 different creatives in order to generate, the amount of leads that we need to generate. And so we spend, close to, somewhere around, high six figures on our ad campaign over the course of about 2 weeks. And so we're heavily invested in that. And so the number 2 traffic channel is our email list. We already have a very large size email list. Number 3 traffic channel is affiliate partners, which is new for this year, which basically means that we partnered with other people who were also content creators, course creators, online business owners that had an audience that fit the product that we sell, and said, hey, will you simply just promote this to your people, and I'll give you a percentage of every single person that comes from your people that buys the program.
Brilliant.
Our first payout, right, proudly can say this, to our affiliate partners, our first payout was over $100,000 to all of our affiliate partners. Over the course of the 12 months, as we collect more and more payments, we'll end up paying out somewhere between $300,000 in affiliate payments to our partners.
My goodness.
Right, so it's an opportunity. I always say the best way to get rich is to figure out how to make other people rich. Okay?
Yeah.
And so that's number 3
and
traffic channel.
And then even practical in that.
Yeah.
Like, so let's just say I got a big audience. I have a huge email list.
Yeah.
All they have to do
is literally just say, hey guys, sign up for this. Dang. And they get paid. That's it.
That's brilliant.
As long as you have a good product that fits the people that you're sending me, I can guarantee you I'll be sending you a paycheck.
Wow.
And that's the power of, once again, having a good product.
Yeah,
All right?
exactly.
And knowing your avatar.
Yeah.
And then now having a network of people who, one of my affiliate partners alone will generate, out of that 300,000, one of them is 100,000 of that. Just one, because he had that large of an audience.
My
and so,
God.
not bad to make
not
over
bad at all.
$100,000 to just send a few emails.
Send an email. That's crazy.
And so number 4 is our own organic traffic, right? Which we're growing. I think one of the cool things we saw on this launch is we did not do Zoom this time. We had everyone watch on YouTube. So we grew our Cult Women YouTube channel from 5,000 to 46,000 over the course of 2 weeks from just simply saying, hey, everybody, go watch it on YouTube.
Wow.
Go watch it on YouTube. So that was a new thing that we did. I love that strategy. And so, yeah, man, those are, it takes traffic to do what we do. And not all the traffic is free. We pay for, I would say 80% of the traffic we paid for.
Yeah. But that's to get to that level, you have to have a top funnel that is.
I will take spending $100,000 to make millions any day.
Absolutely. The math works. The math works.
Yes, sir.
That is brilliant. Man, I hope y'all have, if you don't have 2 pages of notes by now, y'all wasted y'all time, because y'all got so much game. It's crazy. And I'm seeing it up close. It's really brilliance of strategy that obviously over a decade that you've just been walking out, you and your team. One of the things that I love.
I can't wait for the comment that says, I can't believe this was free.
I hope so. Because this is, people pay a lot of money in coaching programs to hear what you just heard. Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Now the hard part is to implement it, right?
Yeah, that's why and people may say, well, why are you sharing this? Because the nuances in implementing this are so detail oriented that so few people will take this and actually go do it. And so that's the reality. You know, at the end of the day, I will share the game. I will share all that I can share. But you still, even for myself, I've listened to so many podcasts where a person is given their full game plan strategy. And the moment you get into trying to implement it, you're like, but I didn't, what about... That's why you need coaching. And that's why I believe in coaching, because, you know, I pay, you know, over 6 figures a year for coaching, because there are nuances to what I do that I can't get from a podcast, that I cannot get from a free YouTube video, right? Like, I can watch it all day, but I need to have a coach that in the moment that I run into something that was not talked about in the podcast, I can refer back and say, hey, but what about this? What about that? What about this? And that's why, for those of you that are watching, at some point, you've got to get off of free and get into somebody's world where you're paying for their time and not just binging on just podcasts and free content. And I'm not saying that I am a huge proponent for podcasts, huge proponent for free content, because free content does help you to believe in that person before you go and pay for that person to be in their world. And so this is why I believe this is an incredible vehicle, because it does bring down the objections that people have before they step fully into somebody else's world.
Absolutely. But then once you start to put things into action, I remember I heard you say when you were speaking, I was with you, and you said you have one coach where he basically answers like one problem for you, and or one question for you, and you'll pay him 6 figures just to answer that one question that's going to save you
so much time
and money. That's like you're saying, like, listen, and there's stages to it, right? Where like,
100%.
Hey, take the free content, whatever you get, mentorship that you can get, whatnot.
Yeah. The higher you go, the thinner the space, the thinner the air becomes, right? The higher you go, the thinner the space becomes, right? So as a multi-7-figure business owner, there are certain problems that I have that are just not going to be answered at the lower level content that's available to everybody, right? And so you got to get into the rooms with people who are doing multiple 7 figures, because everybody here has similar problems and somebody's figured it out, right? And so yes, there's a lot of nuance to getting your problem solved. But if you are just getting started, I say if you're just getting started, what you are lacking is not a coach. What you're lacking is confidence and courage to just start, right? Just start. And a big preaching point on this for a lot of people, the reason why they quit too soon is because they suck, right? And we don't want to confront our suck. We don't want to confront our incapacities, insecurities, inadequacies. We don't want to confront not being good at something. Michael Jordan was good at basketball when he first started, but he wasn't the greatest when he first started. Him becoming great at it took years and years and years and years and years and years of him doing that one thing. And so that's the thing you have to ask yourself, am I quitting because I don't like this? Or am I quitting because I'm not good yet? And I don't want to put the time in to become good. Because I think that is what's separating entrepreneurs who fail and who succeed, are those that are willing to keep going until they become good.
Man, I think you're hitting something, because, again, if I examine the pulse of where entrepreneurship is right now, even Christian entrepreneurs, those who are kind of, in this kind of new era of the online space, entrepreneurship, anybody can be a coach, anybody can have a program, anybody can, and which is amazing. But what separates people, no matter what, like you said, you need the traffic, right? Because the best known brands are the one that win. But as you said earlier, if your product is not good, if what your service is not good, you will not stay long.
Correct.
And it takes time. Like you said, it takes humility to say, okay, it's actually not that good. Or even just the humility just to even take feedback.
Correct.
Like, probably the best thing you could do right now for your business is put out a survey of, like, how actually are people experiencing your product? Or have a very, yes, people around you are just like, oh my gosh, I love it, it's so good. You need some people like, I don't know about this part, like, and they love you enough to tell you the truth, because that's how you improve, you get better, And that's how you can separate yourself. Do you ever feel as a Christian entrepreneur that you're alone? That in a world full of people who are building their businesses off of greed and self-help, you're by yourself on an island trying to build your business God's way. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. When I started my podcast over a year ago, I started with a mission of, could I find like-minded people who were crushing it in business, but doing it God's way? And over 50 episodes later, I've interviewed dozens of millionaires and investors and serial entrepreneurs who have all built their business God's way. And it gave me hope that there is a community of like-minded people who want to build a different way. And I realized we need more than just a podcast that can give information. We need a community that can bring transformation to our lives, to our businesses, so that we can actually build our businesses the way God designed them to be built. And that's why we launched our own online school community called the Faithustle Network. The Faithustle Network is an online space where we can learn to grow our businesses God's way together. You'll get the opportunity to learn from Christian multimillionaires, business owners, and investors, to be a part of our entrepreneur-focused Bible studies and prayer calls where we pray for each other's businesses, and receive exclusive discounts and first access to all Faith Hustle events and resources. Not to mention, you get to be a part of a growing community of hundreds of Christian business owners and content creators, all looking to build their business God's way. If this describes you, join the Faith Hustle Network today. I can't wait to see how God grows you and your business, and I hope you'll join us inside the Faith Hustle Network. One of the things I wanted to get into, this is so good. Everything you're saying is so nail on the head. That I thought was fascinating about your guys' journey. You mentioned that you thought your customer avatar was, I think, a woman in her mid-30s.
Yeah, because that's who my wife was. My wife is in her, mid to late 30s. Young mom. Our oldest child is 9. Our youngest is a baby. So I thought we would draw women whenever we launched Called Women, like my wife.
Yeah.
Stay at home. Maybe a woman who's just unfulfilled, who has kids and she's getting lost in parenting, lost in motherhood, and she's just ready to have something that is for her. That's who we thought the avatar would be, that would come in to learn how to become a life coach in order to step into their purpose. That's who we thought.
Yeah. But you start doing ads and you start putting it out there and making the offer.
Yep.
What was the audience that you ended up getting?
Yeah, it's such an interesting piece. This is business, right? 101. And so we did our survey once we launched our first cohort, which was 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And we did our first Call to Women. Our first Call to Women Masterclass had about 13,000 registered. We didn't do a boot camp that year, so we went from 13,000 registered to about 60 that purchased our certification program. And when we did the data on the 60, right, we ended up learning that 75% of the women were over the age of 45.
Wow.
Right? And over 50% were over the age of 50, right? It was like, okay.
Yeah, we are in a whole different bracket.
Different demographic. And we ended up doing a survey, and I ended up jumping on a call with a lot of them in order to learn. And that's the one thing I would tell people. If you really do care about your business, talk to your customers.
Yeah.
Right?
It's free to. Why
God
not?
gave you 2 ears for a reason. I think as course creators, content creators, podcasters, we're doing a lot more with this one thing we got versus more with the 2 things we got.
That's so
all right?
good.
And the 2 things that we got are ears. If you just took the time to just listen to your people, they will tell you what's wrong. Once I saw the data of the older women, meaning the ones that were buying, I was like, okay, I want to find out why they're buying. So I get on the call, and first person. Yeah, Jamal, I'm in a season of my life right now where I have lived through so much in my life, and I'm about to retire.
Wow.
And I'm looking for ways to still continue to do what God has called me to do from home and be able to use my experiences and what God's taken me through. And if that's helping other women as a coach and I can make money from it too, because now that I'm retired.
Right, yeah.
What better way?
You're sitting on time.
Yes.
And you don't have to try to get all these different skills. Like, you can just use the wisdom that you have. That's brilliant.
Right. So as soon as the first person said it, I was like, duh. And I was like, wow, they are, because at the end of the day, like I said, once again, if you can find out a way to help somebody profit in purpose, right?
Yeah.
If you can help somebody profit in purpose, they're going to figure out how to make it happen to become it, right? And so for this older generation, they're seeing all these young people do the coaching thing, the course creation thing. But I'll be honest, we make it very technical, right? Trying to do the webinars, trying to do the funnels. And so what we teach our clients inside of Call Coach Institute is, hey, get rid of the webinars, get rid of the funnels, just do one-on-one coaching. Have a one-on-one. All it takes is for you to do a Zoom call, talk to someone about what you do, find out what they're going through, and you can lock them in as a one-on-one client and literally coach them. You don't need no sophisticated funnels. All you need to do, go live on Facebook. That's one button.
Yeah.
And then from the live on Facebook, let everybody know that you're doing free discovery calls to find out if maybe them getting a coach will help them in this season of their life. And you do a call with them, find out what's happening, pitch your services, and now you are coaching someone and you're making money from home.
Wow.
And so, man, for these women, they are loving it.
Wow.
We are putting them into purpose. And I'll tell Natasha, like, babe, these women, these are our moms.
Yeah, literally.
Natasha's mom is in this third cohort.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Natasha's mom is in this third cohort. My mom went through the Masterclass. She's like, coach, it ain't for me. You know, she was like, I'm okay. Y'all can have it.
But you went through it.
She's like, I love the Masterclass. I love it. I'm called.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, but
I'm called.
I'm not called to be a coach, which is okay, right? It's okay. And so, but Natasha's mom came in and she is loving it. And so, yeah, man, once again, you just never know, you know, who your true customer is until you create your product and you put it out there into the world.
That is brilliant. I mean, so much of that I love. Again, one, and we talk about this all the time, the pillars of faith, hustle, humility, to not assume that, just not assume, period.
Yeah.
Assuming that you know who your market is, who your audience is, what they want.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like even in Faith Hustle, I feel like a year and some change in, I'm just now discovering.
Sure.
Oh, this is the lane.
Yes.
This is what people are wanting.
Yes.
But it takes the patience and the ability to seek it out. And I just think that's just so brilliant. And so y'all changed y'all mind because it makes more sense now. The speakers you get like a Cindy Trim or a Cheryl Brady, where they're a little older in age, they reflect your audience.
Yes. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell God who I want to serve. I'm not going to tell God who I want to help. No. God, if there's a grace on my life that you've put here,
so be it. Yeah.
Use me however you desire.
Yeah.
And I think that even leans into just even, you know, people ask, man, Jamal, how is it, you know, for you not being the face of, or, you know, you guys, you and Natasha were the face of TOU, right? Where, yes, I know I have a speaking ability, a communicative, you know, gift, you know, and me and my wife were the brand. But when we saw this opportunity to serve women, and my wife had a strong passion for this and a burden for this, right? Like, and I went to her with the idea, and I was like, hey, I think we may need to do a certification program. And she was like, okay. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm thinking, but I'm wondering if the first one should be just for women. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, but
You have to be
it's gonna be you. I'm not a woman, you know?
It'd be hilarious. Like, hey, call the Women Masterclass by Jamal Miller.
Right? Yeah. And so, you know, me stepping back and really allowing her to step forward and step into her grace, and the other coaches alongside her who are all great friends of ours. Man, for me, the joy that I've gotten out of this has been the joy of watching people be put into purpose. And I do believe at the end of the day, now people may come at this from a biblical standpoint, but when the Bible says in Ephesians 4:11 that God has given these gifts to the church, apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers, right? Our generation are much more accustomed and familiar with the pastoral gift, which primarily you see as the shepherd of a church, right? Or we will see the teaching gift, someone that has the ability to break down the Bible. Or you may even see the evangelist, the person who has a great power at seeing thousands of people come to know Christ. But what we don't see at the forefront, right, and which I think is God, is the apostolic gift. Because the apostolic gift to me should be a gift that is able to be walked on. Right? I know Apostle Paul is the most famous person that we know. Yeah. But during his day and time, right, that man was literally the foundation, the builder, the person that was going through the trenches to establish a new movement on the earth, i.e. Christianity. Yeah. So I believe that apostles are those that are helping to establish new movements. You may never know them or know who it is because they're the one potentially behind the scenes with the idea, with the concept, and then they give it to the evangelist or they give it to a pastor, the shepherd. And that's why I believe God is calling us back as a body to learn how to work together as a team again. And I think what we're seeing today is just the highlighting of God wanting to come back to teamwork ministry versus there being one man celebrity driven ministries.
That's good.
To where there is this collaboration between the gifts and people coming together. And that's what I believe we're doing right now. I believe Call Women is the example of an apostolic ministry or an apostolic thrust of someone who has an apostolic gift to have an idea, to see something big, and then say, hey, how do I now find the right pieces and the right people to put in place to fulfill what God is trying to do? And I just believe, man, we're on to something so big that is helping to advance the kingdom. And at the end of the day, when you get saved, you don't get saved into a church. Right? When you get saved into the church. Then you find a church to become a member in. I just believe we've got to come back to remembering that we are all a part of the church, right? I know I'll go hype, go big, go crazy for your church. I'm here for it, right? At the end of the day, believe in your church, back your church, support your church, give at your church. But don't forget that you are a part of the church. When you are walking through the earth and you are doing what God's called you to do, you represent the global church. And I just believe that that's something that we've been called to do, is to help equip the global church to fulfill the mission and the call of God upon their life.
Man, that's powerful. I think.
And that's why I don't have any, what's the word I want to use? I don't have any dog in the fight about the customer or the avatar or the person. You know, I do believe at the end of the day, yes, once Jamal Miller stands out there and I start doing my own brand, my own thing, I'm going to attract who are drawn to Jamal Miller. But we're creating a faceless, nameless tribe, you know, where we have all these different women that are coming together and they don't care about one face, one name. They just care about getting what God's called them to get. And that's why we do what we do.
That's powerful. Man, I don't want to, as we bring this to a close here, because I get the honor, you guys get to hear him, maybe follow him and his wife on social media. I get to be in this man's house. I get to see this lived out. I would say, I mean, actually, some of you might not know this. Makwenda, my name means apostle.
Wow.
And so God,
come on,
so my parents were like, no, we've already decided what the gift is from the beginning. In Jesus' name, this is your call. And it's like, so I didn't have a choice.
He's like, I mean, you know.
I guess so.
Y'all didn't know. She'll let you know. You know, I know you're saying you're an apostle, but my name means
you call yourself apostle. You have the title. My identity is apostle.
Hallelujah.
But literally, like, that's, and honestly, even saying it makes so much sense in my life and like how I'm wired. It's always been that. But you know, with Faithustle, I've never desired it for it to be the Makwenda show.
Sure.
Like, I know the game. Like, okay, the brand needs a face, clearly.
Sure. Yes.
But you know, I would much rather get out the way, allow other people to rise up.
Yes.
I see these platforms. I get to highlight people who are doing incredible things, and I just get to point the spotlight at them, right?
Amen.
Point the camera. I will say, though, for most people, especially men, especially married men. It's funny, we just filmed, I don't know how it's going to get released, but Brad and Jenny, and, you know, they've each helped each other's different businesses and they've done it together. It takes extreme humility. And I just want to really honor you, because I think most people like the idea of like, oh yeah, like building a faceless brand. But I mean, I'm seeing you are in a CEO position of about a 20-person team doing millions and millions a year, reaching hundreds of thousands of people, and you're not the face of it. I know for a fact most men could not do that.
Sure.
And I think ego gets in the way. I think and it's not even like oh man, why are you egotistical? I think it's just genuinely hard.
Sure.
And it takes great humility, and I've seen you walk that out where I'm like, like, you can communicate. You can be the face of something, move something, but you've known in this season, no, I'm called to build. I'm called to put my wife on this pedestal, allow her to live out her dream. And I just want to honor you for that, because that to me is the way of Jesus. That to me, you were displaying in a small but powerful symbol of what Jesus did, of Philippians 2, right? Yeah. Humbled himself even to death on the cross. I just want to honor you for that, because how even to help other men, and not that other men will be in that same position, but I think just in general.
I think it's only hard if you have a desire to be known. It's not hard if you don't have a desire to be known. There are plenty of men who would play, and plenty of men I know that play the background because they have no desire to be known. They don't have that gift. They recognize the gift is on their wife. It's only if you also have the gift and you also have the ability that it is extremely challenging to deny that thing for a season. Yeah. And that's why I say for a season, because God did not give it for you to hide forever. Right. Right? God did not give me the gift of speaking, communicating, preaching. I believe it's because there's a certain place that I'm called to use it. Mm-hmm. And I am beginning to step into that reality of, okay, maybe you don't want to use that here, but you do desire to use it here. Yeah. So you're moving my wife up in this genre or area in order for me to be used in this area. I see you, God. Yeah. Right? God has a plan for you. Yeah. And his plan for you is to be used, but 100% to be used in the way and in the how he wants it to be done. So it's just surrender. Wow. Right? And I think that's what I've had to learn in this season, just surrendering to God and his will and his plan, and not trying to do it my own way. And so, but for those men out there that don't have a desire to speak or communicate or be known, bro, it ain't that hard. It's only for those men that do have a desire that God does ask you to do it, and you do it. And so it has been an incredible journey, humbling journey, absolutely. But at the end of the day, I'm just learning to reset what satisfaction looks like in this season. And satisfaction is not people calling my name. Wow. Right? Satisfaction in this season is seeing my wife happy in purpose and in destiny. And I believe every husband should want that. They should want their wives happy, thriving, in purpose, in destiny. I know from the very beginning, my wife said to me, babe, I know that I'm called to be more than a mom. So please don't limit me to just being a stay-at-home mom who just takes care of kids and is behind the scenes, right? So there was a season where I was the front, the face. I was out there doing all the webinars, teaching all the classes, because she was at home raising our babies. And then there came a time where she was like, babe, I'm ready. And I'm like, bet, let's go. Wow. And I made room for her in what we've built and what we do. And I believe this is the power of covenant. Right? It's the covenant is two people saying, God, how do I serve what is happening in my spouse? And the prayer is, if you do that well, when your spouse serves what's happening, what God is doing in you, that person will say the same thing. God, now how do I serve what's happening in my spouse? Right. And now we're just working to outserve each other. Yeah. I'm not fighting to try to... Not competing. Against, and we've done it all. Me and my wife, we've competed, we've fought. We both try to protect ourselves. You not going, girl, and you ain't gonna do this, and I ain't gonna do that, right? And it's just like, why did you get married? Wow. Did you get married to be on two separate teams? Or did you get married to be on the same team? Because that's what the devil gonna try to do. Yeah. He gonna try to convince you that your spouse is against you. They don't want what you want. They don't want what you desire. They don't want what you want to see happen. And eventually, that's where it becomes where you go from marriage, covenant, I love you, I want to be with you forever, to then becoming roommates, and then you become where you're no longer together at all, separated, and if you're separated, you're divorced. And that does not happen overnight. It's like a boat that's just not tied to the dock, right? And Jesus said it, right? Do not be what? Unequally yoked. I don't think Jesus said it, I think Paul said it. Yeah. But if Paul said it, Jesus said it. Do not be unequally yoked. What does that verse mean, actually? It is literally meaning, do not be unequally yoked. That means that the yoke wasn't actually the thing that a donkey was tied to. And a donkey is going in this direction. And if you two are not yoked equally, then you're going to be going in two different directions. But if you're yoked equally, that means that what's pulling you, and I believe that donkey should be Jesus. As Jesus is pulling your purpose, and you both are equally invested in each other's purpose, where God is taking you, where God wants to bring you, what God wants to do in you, then my friend, your marriage will never fail.
Wow.
You will hit some bumps in the road.
Yeah.
Because all dirt got bumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
But learning how to work together is the ultimate goal of marriage.
Man.
It is teamwork. It is oneness. And I said this on a podcast, that went viral. I said, man, I think our generation, we are so invested in trying to marry the one that we have not learned, or we have not invested in the revelation that when I do marry the one, I'm going to spend a lifetime learning how to become one. But we all think if I just marry the one,
Then that settles it.
Then we're good.
Yeah.
What? That's a lie from the pit of hell.
Man.
Because why are 50% of marriages that believed
that
I married the one? Nobody gonna stand at an altar with a pastor and all your family members believing, I don't know about marrying the right one.
Or it's like this is my third best.
Yeah.
And the I was like,
I will give it maybe 1%. There's probably 5% that stood there really uncertain. But 95% of people stand at the altar looking at their spouse. I found the right one.
Wow.
Finally.
Yeah.
All the years it took.
I'm
marrying the right one. Then why does 50% of those marriages end in divorce? Because yes, you learn how to marry the one, but you were not as equally invested in learning how to become one. And when Jesus said, let a man leave his father and mother
and cleave
to his wife.
Man.
And those two, boy, you better not make me preach.
Hey, come on now. We'll take up an offering up here.
One flesh.
They'll become one flesh.
That is a lifelong journey.
Wow.
It's not overnight. It don't take 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It takes time,
man,
to learn how to become one and operate as one.
Man. Yo, we got a digital marketing masterclass. We got a coaching masterclass. We got an audience masterclass, and we just snuck in a marriage masterclass. Y'all should be paying some money for this, but it's free. No, this is, man, it's so good because I think it's funny. And again, I don't know how it's gonna be put out, but we have Brad and Jenny on, and they were talking about we protect unity and our covenant, and I'm seeing all these things, and clearly the enemy's always been out to attack marriages. It feels like now more than ever. And I do believe that marriages, especially those who feel this drawing to, hey, we're going to do business together.
Yes, sir.
You have to even be more so
100%
in sync, not competing.
I would even just add, you've got to protect your marriage from your business. They are two different people or entities.
Yeah, they're not the same.
They're not the same. And so you've got to prioritize your marriage over your business, over the money, over the success, over the accolades. And that is something that takes some serious intentionality because it is very easy to think that, I've done it all the time. Babe, let me go. I got to go do this because this is what helps us be married.
Yeah.
I don't want to be broke.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on food stamps. I don't want to be struggling.
Yeah.
So let me go put in the 70, 80 hours a week. And what we've learned is that there just has to be some non-negotiables when it comes to our rhythms and our ways of living, that no matter how much money we got in the bank, whether it's a date night in bed at 11:30 when the kids are asleep, and we're going to put on some candles and make some sandwiches because we can't afford to go to the movies or afford a babysitter.
Yeah.
It don't matter. Make time.
Yeah.
Make time. Or you got the money and the money's coming in, and now you're taking date night in Mexico. At the end of the day, date night has to happen.
Yeah.
I don't care what situation, what scenario, what's going on. It's a non-negotiable to take time to be with your spouse.
And you're not talking about business on the trip.
Oh, no, what? It's a write-off, okay?
That's true.
So we going to do some business, all right? Praise God.
Hold on.
Now, what we is going to do is write this vacation off. And the way we do that, I tell my CPA, me and Natasha went to Mexico, do some business planning.
Masterminding.
Trying to figure out what next year look like, okay?
Yeah.
Get that thing written off.
Exactly.
I won't go that far and say that we don't, bro, our business is a part of our life. That's like saying we're not going to talk about the kids. No, our kids are a part of our life. Our business is a part of our life. We are a part of our life. No, we love business. My wife we love ministry. We love people. We love we love purpose.
That's true. Yeah.
So vacations are, now do we definitely have intentional time to talk about how we want to optimize us? How are you? What do you, absolutely that's going to happen. And you got to be intentional as well to make time for those conversations. But yeah.
Man, this is, oh my God. We going to end it right here. This has been so valuable on all levels, business, relationships, tactics, humility. I know y'all have grabbed something from this, and I just want to, again, thank you for just modeling this for me, modeling this for a single man. We pray not long in the name of Jesus. Hey, my God.
We believe, God.
In Jesus' name. But thank you for modeling this, man, because it's giving me and a lot of people a path of how we can move forward, of how we can do business God's way in an actual practical sense. Man, I'm so glad that this is your second time solo being here, but your third time on the podcast. But, man, thank you for the wisdom, bro.
All love.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Faith Hustle podcast. We hope you felt challenged, encouraged, and equipped to walk out your faith hustle. And if you enjoyed this episode, we encourage you to subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on YouTube or any audio platform. As well, leave us a review. It helps us so much in our ratings so we can get the word out to more people. Each week we have these conversations with business owners who build their business God's way. And so we look forward to growing with you on your faith hustle journey. We'll see you next time.